Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the video store, the place that we can all go to every week when it's movie night. On days like today, when the store is quiet, I get to watch movies and series and talk about them with my friends that work here. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
How's it, chaps?
Yo.
Hey, Russell.
What's going on?
You know,
Yeah,
it's
good.
nice and chilly, keeping warm with some coffee.
Lovely. Welcome to the video store. Thank you for wandering in to our video store. Today we got Perrin,
Hello.
P-Dog,
Yay.
who, when not working at the video store, is an editor.
Yeah. And
Amongst-
videographer.
And videographer.
Yeah.
And
I know cinematographers are going, they're scoffing hearing at videography. Ugh.
But you own it. You
Yeah.
own the fact that you
Yeah, I had to
videographer,
pivot. Yeah, and like I'm
as opposed to a
learning.
cine.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's such a
learning and
wanky
it's
term.
Cool. Cine, DOP.
Did that come afterwards? Is like editing your main thing and you just...
No, I studied writing and directing, so my main thing is writing. But yeah, I had to pivot in my career, and editing and videography helped me learn more things.
Like
So, yeah.
like Ross said, you just got to pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot.
Pivot.
We got Gaddy here, who, when not working at the video store, makes the most delicious candy.
Well, thank you, Russell.
The Gaddles Candy Company. And he also plays in Short Straw with me. And for myself, when I'm not working at the video store, I'm the owner of the Bioscope, which is a cinema here in Joburg.
That's where I know you from.
And limited edition.
And limited
A
edition.
Fantastic t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
company
thank you.
and
I'm just
other
trying to
bits.
give people context because
Yeah.
I realize we just start and go, "Hey, what's up?"
Hey, dude. Oh,
And I think
Just the Oaks.
I think having people
yes.
having people know some context, and also for those who tune in and walk into our video store every week, we took a little break last week. I hope you didn't miss us too much. Well, I hope you missed us. I don't understand the joke, but I'm trying to set up. But more like we're back. I went to Amsterdam for about sort of 5 or 6 days with my lover. my fiance. So I want to talk about that because I saw some really cool film stuff
Yeah, man.
while I was there. And I arrived back in time for us to watch Twisters, which was cool. We went on IMAX on Thursday. As I arrived, I was still like running on fumes after this trip.
Yeah.
But that just shows you some dedication. I came back and we all went and watched Twisters. But what was special about that was that we had lots of listeners and friends join us for that screening, which was really cool. So thank you to everyone who participated in our giveaway. It was lovely to meet you all, and it was great to have you watch Twisters with us, which is now in cinemas. And so we're going to get into that.
So you know, after Barbie came out, like someone released one of those fake... whenever Marvel do their releases and
Yeah.
like the continuity, so it's like the whole universe of games and board games.
Yeah.
And like imagine like a Twister, like the game Twister, making a movie version of that.
That's what they did, didn't they?
Probably, like,
Isn't that what this is?
Yeah.
my girlfriend, one of the best things I've ever heard her say, and it took me a moment to get it, is that I was like, "Oh, we should watch Twister." Well, this was like months ago. We should rewatch Twister, and she's like, "When Helen Hunt put Left Hand on Red, my heart stopped." That's just like amazing. So yeah, they should make Twister the movie, not Twisters.
There's a murder mystery.
Yeah, directed by Ryan Johnson. Yeah.
Lovely. So what I want us to do is I want us to have an inaugural game
Yeah.
today, which is something that I hope we can often do here at the video store,
Yeah.
which is to play a game I'm calling Hey, Have You Guys Seen? And what we're going to do is it's effectively a lightning round of quick, newsy type info that we want to share with each
Feels
other.
like a Mexican standoff right now. We've all got our phones out. We're like, who's going to get there first?
Spider-Man.
I think you start, Perrin.
Okay. I have options over here. So Gladiator 2 trailer.
You got to start with, hey, did you guys see?
Sorry. Okay. Did you guys see the Gladiator 2 trailer?
I did.
What did you think?
Yeah, Denzel with a New York accent
Yeah.
is interesting.
I'm walking you.
and sort of like a
Yeah.
pretty hardcore like rap song.
Yeah, like I mean,
Kendrick.
yeah, I was,
Did mention Coliseum, so they slapped it on
Yeah,
because
the
Denzel's
king
in the
to a
movie.
god,
but I don't know
a
why.
god to a king.
But Ridley Scott trailers have been doing that lately. Like Napoleon had a really bad Radiohead cover in it, where I was just like, oh.
That seems to be the trend at the moment, is to
Like-
do like a
But like period films, and they're like, we're cool, we're edgy.
yeah.
I don't think these directors have got anything to do
Yeah,
with
no,
those
but
trailers.
yeah, I get you. But it just like the trailer looks cool, but I feel like it was just too long, and it felt like it gave away everything. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Have you guys seen the trailer for Agatha All Along?
I did actually.
Agatha All Along.
So this is a spin-off of WandaVision,
Yeah.
which was a Marvel Universe TV show.
Okay.
So she was a character who kind of became like a witch. She was a cop and then she got possessed. So the whole idea of WandaVision was that she hypnotized this whole town into believing that they were in
Like a TV show.
a TV show, and
Yeah.
it kept on changing. Each episode was a different kind of decade. It went into Malcolm in the Middle, which is like my
Yeah,
favorite.
it was very
my favorite thing
creative.
ever.
It was very cool. Yeah.
So now Wanda is dead and Vision is dead. Well, is Wanda dead?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's all up
But is
in
this
there.
a TV show?
This is a TV show. So this has been like they've been making it for ages, and it's gone through like 10 title changes.
Yeah.
And it's now called Agatha All Along.
Yeah, so basically it's a spin-off of one of the main antagonists in that show. And she's trapped in this world that Wanda has like put her in. You know what I mean? So
Who's-
she's like waking up now.
Who's the main character?
It's Agatha.
No, but what's the actor?
What's her name? She's a comedian.
Oh, she's that person who's like always the friend, or
I'll get to you now.
Okay. Gad, you do the Googling of today's episode. I will move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, did you guys see that Devil Wears Prada is getting a sequel?
I did.
I haven't seen the original.
So,
I don't know if it's necessary. What do you think?
well, I scour bookstores to find
Okay.
the books that we sell in the gift shop.
It's based on a book.
Well, the author has written sequels.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so it'd be interesting to see whether or not it's based
That'll
on
be
those
fun.
books.
yeah, that'll be cool
Catherine
to see.
Hahn is
Yeah,
the
Catherine
actress.
Hahn, that's it.
Let me show him a picture.
It looks fun.
She's
hey?
the girl in that meme. It's like doing the finger
Oh,
point.
she's
yeah.
amazing. Oh, she's top class.
Yeah.
She was that she was the political advisor
In Parks and
in
Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, where she hates kids and she
Yeah.
wears like ponchos and stuff.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
Did you guys see that Euphoria is returning to production for season 3? I'm very excited about that.
Okay.
Did you guys ever get into
I
Euphoria?
never did. It
think
was
I
always
watched-
a bit too depressing for me.
It is a bit
Did I watch
hard.
one episode? I couldn't. Also, too heavy for me.
Yeah, so season 2 was good. Season 3, so I didn't think it would happen because Sam Levinson, the creator, after season 2 ended, like everyone was just too hot and popular. So like schedules changed. It also the writer strike came into effect. So season 3 was delayed by like 3 years. Then he made the abysmal The Idol. Holy shit. Absolute
Oh, yeah, no, that was
shit
horrible.
show.
Is it the same showrunner?
Same showrunner, and he's a bit. I'm not a big fan of Sam Levinson, but I like Euphoria. So it'll be interesting. I think so. The full cast is coming back, which is also interesting.
So that cast is huge. It's Sydney
massive.
Sweeney, it's Zendaya.
Zendaya, Jacob Elordi, those are like their 3 big pools, right?
Is it A24 as well?
Yeah, in co-production with HBO. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen because I know he wanted to make it a 5-year jump ahead.
Kind of needs to.
It
because
needs
they're going to age a
and
lot.
to be honest, because I didn't think it was coming back. I thought season 2 was the end of it because of just scheduling conflicts. Sam Levinson is a bit weird. But yeah,
Why do you keep saying he's weird? Is he like creepy dude?
he's a bit of a creepo, and also like there's just a lot of weird on-set stories that I've heard.
Yeah,
where
okay,
like
creepo.
yeah, like he doesn't get like he'll write characters out just because he doesn't like the actor for some reason.
Okay, alright.
But then season 3, I think, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the final.
Yeah.
Like it's done.
How many episodes were in each season? Because could this be a bit of a limited
I think it
series?
was like 8 or 9 per season.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it is actually effectively a limited
Yeah.
series that sort of keeps coming back.
Because they're going to be out of high school now. They're going to be adults. But it'll be nice to see how they wrap up everyone's stories or continue it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gaddy, you got another one?
I'm going to steal Perrin's one from earlier. Did you guys see that Trump got shot?
That was an interesting one. It was an
That was a
interesting
big
thing to
one.
wake up to.
We were watching TV, and what we were watching? We were watching Hackers, rewatching Hackers,
cool.
and Kira was like, she's like, wait, I need to Google to check if this is actually a thing, and
Yeah.
she's like, Trump just got shot, and then we changed it over to the news, and we obviously saw those pictures where the far right are gonna like idolize now of him.
Yeah, this is
pumping
kind
his
of
fist.
scary. Like, what's
It's
going
very
to happen?
scary.
Because
Yeah.
all I saw was, the fact that it grazed his ear.
Yeah,
And then I saw that he sort of was still able to give a fist.
fight. He was shouting,
And then,
fight.
and then I
yeah.
thought, oh God, I wouldn't put it past him to have made this a
a PR stunt.
PR stunt, But
it was-
other people died, right?
Yeah, other people
so it's
died. We
not-
thought that initially, and then when we heard that, we're like, oh yeah, it's probably not.
Well,
like-
definitely the shooter, and then there was one
Yeah.
person behind him.
Yeah, the 3 people in total were injured. I think
But he got
4.
shot in the middle of going on about how he's going to deport every Mexican and like non-US citizen.
Yeah, I know it's scary, but it's like when we get a Trump biopic, this
Yeah.
will make an interesting point in the story. This is like the sort of second act inciting incident or second act turning point.
Yeah,
Isn't it
this could
coming
be-
soon?
yeah. Sebastian Stan is playing
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Sure, but
Yeah.
it's a bit.
It's that's in like the Apprentice era. That's
Yeah.
like way before.
Yeah, that was a film that came out in Cannes, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yes, it did. Yeah, I think it got sold at Cannes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can make stuff now, but history will be interesting in sort of 20, 30 years' time when they make a Trump biopic then.
Yeah.
Because then we'll have a bit more clarity. The dust will have settled. We'll have seen the wood from the
yeah.
trees. And we're living in history. It's amazing.
It's scary because like, I mean, we were chatting about it briefly before we started. And like, I think I still don't think he's going to win the election. I think it's just going to radicalize his fan base even more so.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, we were talking about how, like, because Gad, you think the Democrats are screwed because of this now. Do you think Trump's going to win?
I don't know. I mean, I really want to believe he's not going to. But,
Yeah.
But with the way things are going with Biden, there's like.
So yeah,
I think there's just going to be the lowest voter turnout in history.
yeah, that's what could win Trump the election. Like, so, like, the scary thing is like we were talking about how like Trump's first term was chaotic because they didn't expect to win. So like they were like scrambling the whole time.
Yeah.
This time it's going to be scarier if he does win because they've got a plan in place. That
Yeah.
project 2025 is like Gilead
terrifying.
blueprint. It's insane.
Gilead Blueprint.
Yeah, like
Oh, that's a Handmaid's Tale reference.
yeah. So like
Deportation of all illegals.
Yeah,
Like they're going to make abortion.
they want to like
illegal.
ban. They want to ban pornography. They want to
It is scary.
like divorces. You can only get a divorce if someone finds a fault in someone, so you can't just divorce. You have to like come with terms that they agree with.
Okay, so this is
liable for divorce.
This is the Republicans putting together a plan.
Yeah, for the next 4
Which
years and
Trump
beyond,
denied knowing about.
which is
and,
insane.
and then now he's actually appointed people on his staff from the Project 2024 bill.
There's people on that staff who are like openly racist, misogynistic, anti-Semitic, like sexist. You know,
But also, like, a big plan is that they're going to kick out all the Democratic appointed
Yeah.
positions in government that wouldn't necessarily like disappear when
Yes.
it changes over, but they're going to insist
Yeah.
that happens.
There's a lovely Last Week Tonight about it.
yeah, I watched that as well. Yeah,
and
great
and it's
piece.
about the fact that in a civil servant job,
yeah.
there's a handful of people who are just there because they've got a job.
Oh.
They're not affiliated with Democrats or Republicans. They wouldn't change office and they wouldn't leave their jobs depending on whether a Republican or a Democrat is in power. They are just civil servants.
Yeah.
And this bill, if it takes power and comes into power, this bill can change that, and these people can lose their jobs, and other people can be appointed.
Yeah, there's like a loyalty thing as well involved with it. Like,
and so it's scary because then now you're going to put people in power that have an affiliation to a particular party. Oh, it's scary.
It's fucking
but
terrifying.
you're talking about *Handmaid's Tale*, which was a very famous book, which became a really great series. And it was a very scary show because it's set in the now, where America turns into this religious fundamentalist thing that turns into this nightmare where they basically dial back 100 years or whatever to women being servants to men, and it's a scary.
I mean,
scary story.
They also want to ban contraceptives. Just one of the things. Like, that's insane. Like,
it's so stupid. And in 2024, you think it's baffling, but then that's the premise of *Handmaid's Tale*. Like, that's baffling then, but it happens.
But that's the thing. Like, we were talking about Civil War recently, right? The movie, and how a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's too far fetched. There's not enough context and stuff like that." Shit that is happening now is like one step closer to that actually happening. You know, because like,
no, it is well.
If Trump wins, it's going to be a fucking shit show. If Trump loses, it's going to be a shit show. Because I mean, it just blows my mind that
I don't think it would be a shit show if he loses.
I think.
They still have Biden in power.
But
Biden, in my opinion, has still got a great sort of.
He's got
brain.
a good team around him.
He's got a great team, a great brain, and great foresight. But he is old, so when you put him under the stress of talking and debating, he's not going to be this vicious, articulate person. But his compass is in the right direction, and if you give him time, like he'll set a course. But let's maybe not talk about this for too long.
Shame.
Whose turn is it?
I think
I can
Gad.
go.
Yeah. Oh, it's you. Yeah.
Gad's
Gad.
No. Hey, did you guys see the trailer for F1?
I think it looks great. Like,
did I see it?
Okay. So for the last,
you disagree?
No, it is cool. For the last,
no, it's
for the last few months. I'm just giving context. So for the last few months, if you are an Formula One fan, you've known that they have been shooting a movie that stars Brad Pitt that is set around the world of Formula One. I thought it was just a Hollywood production.
Yeah.
I had no idea until I saw this trailer that it is an official Formula One movie.
And it's done by the guy who did Top Gun Maverick, so it should be fucking wild.
No, but
it costs $300 million.
But it's made by and for Formula One. The agency, the entity, the conglomerate, the business that is Formula One. So it is their movie, which is really interesting. And I don't think that's really happened before, where like the NFL have made a movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
NBA
true.
NBA have made an official movie.
Yeah.
So this is interesting.
It is very interesting.
That's what makes this one a little different.
I'm just curious to see.
And it also explains why it's had this fucking crazy budget.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see because it looks like Brad Pitt's character is a proper F1 driver and it like not retired and he's old. So like he's old for an F1 driver. So I'm curious to see how they're going to explain that. You know?
They're usually these young 20-year-olds. Drive to Survive, for those who haven't dived in.
Great show, Jesus.
Is an incredible show, and it basically set a new chapter
100%.
in television, which is the sports biopic. And I want to talk about this later when we talk about TV shows, because everyone is getting a Drive to Survive type show.
Yeah, golf.
And
tennis,
they're all good.
They're
so
all really
I want to
good,
talk about Sprint, which is about sprinters.
I need to watch that. Yeah, it's on my list.
Especially ahead of the Olympics. So we'll get into that later. Even something down to the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
So we're going to get into that later. Cool. Next one.
Shame. This is a bit of a more somber note, but like 3 great figures died this week.
Hey, did you guys see?
Sorry. So hey, did you guys see that Shannon Doherty died, Shelley Duvall died, and Simmons?
I didn't realize Shannon. I saw Kevin Smith did a post, but I didn't actually read the text.
Yeah, so
a lot of people seem to have been dying recently.
Yeah, it sucks, man, because like Shelley Duvall I've always felt as a very underrated actress. I feel
let's
like
just talk about
Olive
her
Oil.
specifically.
from Popeye, and but like her best work was with Robert Altman for me.
And The Shining.
Yeah, Shining, I feel like, because a lot of people talk about how she was abused by Kubrick on that set.
All the takes she had to do.
Yeah, she's like awful. So like, yeah, it really sucks about that one. That one like really hurt.
Yeah, she was the main mom partner figure in The Shining.
But if you want to see her best work, definitely Robert Altman films. Three Women in particular, amazing
I
performance.
know the name Robert Altman. I'm not sure I've seen
He
all
did,
the work.
Player is one of the greatest.
The Player
movies.
is one of the best movies about making movies ever.
I love Shortcuts as well.
Shortcuts is
I know about
amazing.
Shortcuts, yeah.
Nashville is amazing.
Gosford Park, was that his?
Yeah, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, one of the most influential westerns ever made.
Okay.
Incredible filmmaker. His use of dialogue and sound and dialogue. People talk over a lot. The Long Goodbye as well is amazing film. He's a
Cool.
great filmmaker.
Lovely. Do you have any more, Gad?
Did you guys see that The Acolyte has been getting a bit more love, which is nice? I made this work. I made it work.
The TV show on Disney Plus, The Acolyte,
I need to carry on.
which
man.
came out to mixed reviews, is now garnering a bit more faith.
So I was very iffy, and it's now like
Has it gotten better?
they talk a lot about the Rashomon effect.
Okay.
Like the seeing scenes from different perspectives.
Yeah.
And how like they're differently construed differently from different people. And I'm like, I'm getting it now.
Okay.
So there's one more episode left.
How many are they on now?
7.
Okay,
was
so-
just done.
I stopped at 4, so I need to carry on.
Yeah. So episode 7 is like the inverse of episode 3.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
So it's like a
cool.
mirror of that, and you see the Jedi's perspective and
Wait, episode 3 was the cringy.
the cringy one. But it's cringy because it's from the girl's perspective,
Oh, that's
and
true.
they're young,
Okay.
and like a lot of stuff. Like in hindsight, you're going back and going, okay, it is cringy, but like it's supposed to be cringy. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So has it now been revealed that this is the narrative device of the show? So perhaps in the beginning people didn't know the plan, but now they're seeing the plan
That's very
and
intriguing.
it's now
I
being
dig that.
appreciated.
So a few people are still like, I see what they're doing, but I don't think it's great. I think it's clever. I'm really appreciating it now.
And this is a Star Wars show.
And
just for those who've missed it.
I appreciate it because I know you're a big Star Wars fan. So like that piques my interest now because a lot of the people who are whinging about it are just angry incel neckbeards, you know, who are like, oh, women perspective in Star Wars. No, thank you.
I think what people are not enjoying about the show is that the show's critical of the Jedi.
Oh, I get you.
But I mean,
Okay.
if you've seen episode 1, 2, and 3, you know the Jedi aren't perfect.
Yeah,
and they kidnap
100%.
kids and train them, take them from their
Yeah.
families. It's like the Jedi are not like the perfect organization by any
Yeah.
means. It's a criticism of
interesting.
religion and
Yeah, it adds a complex layer to it. I dig that.
Yeah.
Cool, I'll
Okay.
definitely check it out.
Hey, did you guys see the trailer for Bando Stone in the New World?
What? Is that a country
It's such
rock
a,
band?
It's such a weird fucking name. Bando Stone in the New World.
No.
It's directed. It's Childish Gambino. So
Oh,
Donald
cool.
Glover. It's his directorial debut.
That's cool.
So you haven't seen it.
no.
did he not workshop the title at all?
It's weird, and I actually was hoping whether you guys could confirm
Chime
whether
in,
or not
yeah.
it's based on something. But
That's
it
cool.
looks refreshingly unique.
Well,
It looks wildly unique and new.
didn't he direct a few episodes for Atlanta? I think he did.
Sure, I mean he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I think he's brilliant.
Donald-
I love.
Donald Glover, we know, well, at least I know him the
Community.
most from Community.
Yeah.
He's Troy from Community, but he then went on to be Childish Gambino, who's a very celebrated
Musician,
Musician.
rapper. Yeah, that's great.
friends of mine, funny enough, who went to NYU, who stayed in the dorm, had him as their dorm leader.
That's very cool.
That's their like claim to fame.
That's
and they were
very
like,
cool.
he was the nicest guy.
Yeah, he seems like such a cool dude.
And they said they saw him on the street once, years later, once he was on Community.
yeah,
And he stopped and knew them and remembered them and was a nice guy.
no, he
So,
seems like a rad
like
dude.
it's those
yeah.
little encounters
Love
or
that.
sort of references that are cool.
Yeah.
And then you realize that Childish Gambino is very much a character.
Oh, 100%.
You
Yeah.
know, this really intriguing commentary on blackness and
Yeah.
American politics.
Well,
It's
this is
very
America
smart.
was like
One of
Sure,
the best
and
music
how he-
videos.
deranged lunatic.
How
Yeah.
he dresses, how he acts, how
Yeah.
the dance works. But it's very smart because then when you watch Donald Glover as Donald Glover do stand-up comedy, and I know there was a Netflix special, he's
Oh,
like a
really?
bit of a dorky dude.
Yeah.
He's like wearing like Converse and jeans.
I know one of the characters in 30 Rock is based on him because he was a writer, I think, on 30 Rock as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and one of the characters is actually inspired by him, so they wrote.
So check out the trailer for Bando Stone.
That's cool. How did I miss that?
And
Jeez.
I really hope it could see a cinema release.
Yeah.
At least here in South Africa.
Do you know who's distributing it or producing it?
So I paused on the trailer to see what studio names, but it's all quite indie. So nothing major, which gives me the indication whether or not it might filter down to one of the distributors of South Africa. But we'll see whether someone maybe picks it up. But it's bizarre. You're not quite even sure what the movie is about. But he sort of plays kind of himself as Childish Gambino.
Okay, cool.
So he's like the singer.
Yeah.
And he's trapped on like an island with someone in this kind of post-apocalyptic world.
That sounds awesome.
But it also seems like it could be this digital illusion.
Okay.
Where there's a woman who's kind of fending.
Who else is in it of note?
No one that I can recognize.
Okay.
But there's this woman who's like surviving in this kind of Mad Maxy sort of type post-apocalyptic world. And it looks like everyone else is dead or gone. And then when he meets up with her, he sort of realizes he's kind of useless. All he can do is sing.
Yeah.
So it looks cool.
Sick, man.
Okay.
So he's apparently also doing a version of Lando for Star Wars.
Oh, that's cool.
Lando
I thought he was a
Calrissian.
great piece of casting as Lando for me personally.
What is a TV show?
So it was going to be a movie and a TV show. There's a lot of Star Wars projects that they announced, and just no one actually knows what's happening.
Yeah,
But
I
he
guess
could
they'll
be a
figure it
great
out.
Lando.
Yeah,
dig
it'll
him.
probably be a limited series on Disney Plus, most likely. Okay, let's get into it in terms of films.
Yes.
Let's start with Longlegs,
Okay.
which is a film I saw coming quite a while away. I don't have much context of the filmmaker, of the film, other films that he's made, and I just noticed that it looked like it was going to be a Bioscope movie. And it took people like you, Perrin, and other friends, shout out to Manus, a few other guys that I know, who were like, this is special, this is different, this is smart, this should be a Bioscope movie.
Yeah.
So took a swing on it. We had ourselves a sold-out screening over the weekend, which was lovely.
Yeah.
We didn't have actually the space, funny enough, to do many screenings of it, just because we had such a great weekend. It was so lovely.
Yeah.
But one of the cherries on top of the cake on Saturday was the fact that we had the sold-out screening.
Yeah.
So it definitely has a place, an audience, a
Got
love.
an appeal. 100%.
So what is the context of this movie? Who is Osgood Perkins?
Okay, so Osgood Perkins is Anthony Perkins' son. So if people aren't familiar, that's Norman Bates in Psycho.
So the Alfred Hitchcock Psycho,
Yeah.
which is at one point in the movie really just like two people.
Yeah, it's
The
great
woman
film.
and then the
Jesus.
guy who lives in the house.
Yeah,
It's just one person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Well, certainly not the third, but we definitely know two people were in
Yeah.
the movie, which was the main woman and then old Norman
Genetically.
Bates.
Yeah.
And-
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. Okay, so that was his dad.
Yeah, so that was his dad. And also, if you are familiar with Legally Blonde, he was the weird, nerdy guy that Reese Witherspoon, like, when he's talking to girls and she's like, you were the best sex I've ever had. Remember that scene? He's
yeah.
that nerdy guy. I can't remember the character's
You
name.
could
But
play Lurch.
yeah, 100%, right?
Okay, so this is Osgood Perkins.
Osgood Perkins, right? So he has been making like these really interesting horror films for a few years now. This is his fourth film. First film was Blackcoat's Daughter, or his title, but he prefers February, which is a great mystery, occult, satanic horror. It's
It has
fucking
a
awesome.
few names. But,
Yeah,
but it's known as the Black
It's
Coats.
known as Blackcoat's Daughter, but I think in some regions in Europe it's known as February, which I think is a more fitting title if you
Okay.
watch the movie.
Interesting.
And then he did a movie on Netflix, which is very polarizing. All of his films are very polarizing, but this one's called I'm the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. It's like a ghost story kind of vibe.
And that's on Netflix.
That's on Netflix. A very polarizing, slow burn, gorgeous film. I really enjoyed that. Then he did Hansel and Gretel, which is his obviously spin on that
Story.
folklore tale, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I see what he was doing. And you can see from that film where his style started to adjust more to mainstream audiences.
Okay.
So his first two films have often gets critiqued for being, people don't like them because they're either too slow or he doesn't provide enough answers, right?
Okay, but they're generally scary thriller horror movies.
Black Coat's Daughter is like proper unsettling for me. He makes, and one of his biggest perks is his atmosphere is phenomenal. Even in Longlegs, despite what you may say about the final, if he stuck the landing or not.
Yeah, we'll get to your critique of it. But But atmosphere is
atmosphere
is the key.
incredible. But I mean, that's what I love about his first two films is that he is very, I don't want to say vague, but he doesn't provide all the answers. He doesn't spoon feed the audience.
Well, that's always going to be an interesting challenge is whether or not a filmmaker, when it's time to give you something, when it's time to not. And it goes the same for sexiness. It goes the same for humor. It goes the same for everything, which is like, you don't just appear naked or you don't just give the punchline. You've got to give the right amount at the right time.
And that's what I appreciate about those first two films, especially Black Coat's Daughter, is the replay value is exponential for me. Like Black Coat's Daughter, first time I watched it, I liked it. Didn't really appreciate it as much as I wanted to. Second time I watched it, like blew me away because it's just the mystery of it, the writing, the structure. It's just so smart, and it's proper like unsettling. Like it's a fucked up movie.
Interesting, but this is what's also very interesting is that you are enjoying and craving something that is unsettling. That's also an interesting one, and I think there is a demand for that. There is a want for that because we had a sold out screening. So here comes Longlegs, which is in cinemas now. This stars Nicolas Cage.
Yes, as Longlegs.
As Longlegs, okay.
The boogeyman of the movie, so
Quick
to speak.
back of the box is that it's about a serial killer and it's about a woman finding a serial killer,
But
right?
she finds out that she has like a connection to the serial killer, like a personal connection. So that pushes her to try find him even harder, you know what I mean? But with Longlegs for me personally, so let's get into the critique of it, right? So what I think hurt Longlegs in the long run is the marketing. The marketing was ingenious. It was proper unsettling, proper scary. Like they would have billboards with Longlegs. So it's Longlegs, if you want to get a vibe of what it's going for, it's like a satanic mix of Silence of the Lambs and Seven and Zodiac, right?
Okay.
So there's the FBI agent like Clarice Starling in Silence of the Lambs hunting a killer who seems to be obsessed with her because he leaves notes for her and stuff. So, and the notes are all cryptic, like the Zodiac or Seven or whatever.
So it's kind of like the best of all these
films.
Yeah.
And Osgood Perkins even said, like, the film wears its influences on its sleeve. So, like, it's set during the time where these great serial killer movies were coming out in the 90s, Seven and Silence of the Lambs, namely, right?
Cool.
So what the film does is the marketing, like I said, there were billboards with the cryptic messages and it would send people to a phone number and they'd phone the phone number and Nicolas Cage would be on the other end speaking to them, not obviously him in real time. It'd be wild. But the marketing, the trailers, everything was so well done. They did the most in not showing Nicolas Cage at all. Even in the movie, for the most part, it takes him a while before they fully show this character that he's playing. He's this weird T-Rex obsessed. The band, not the
dinosaur. Not the species of dinosaur. The band.
So like he's this weird camp, like super like creepy like villain. And the thing is, the movie does such a good job setting stuff up, and then it gets to the third act where it feels like I said, Osgood Perkins been adapting his style to more mainstream audiences, right? So he kept a lot of his style from before, but then the third act, it feels like he over-explains. He's like...
So it was as if someone came to him and said, listen, I think we need to dumb this down, or we need to make it more accessible.
And it just...
So perhaps for you as the real like diehard horror fan, you're smarter.
Yeah.
You're perhaps smarter and more versed than most audiences because you've watched far more obscure, far more unsettling. So perhaps for you, it wasn't as potent a cocktail as you wish, where other audiences might appreciate it.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like after the screening, like me and Kira turned to each other, and she's like, "Did you feel the twist wasn't really worth it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it felt like it was like is that it? You know what I mean?"
Sure.
And
Okay.
I feel like if he packaged that final act in a different manner, where like there were more questions on the table rather than answers, I think it would have landed better. And I feel like he also ended the film on the wrong moment.
Okay.
There was a moment where I'm like, cool, cut to black, that's it. And then
That
it
should be
cuts
it.
to something else. And I was like, shit.
Uh,
But like after the screening, like there were a few people that I recognized at the screening and stuff. And like a lot of them resonated. They were like, that was fucked up. That was amazing. I loved
Cool.
it. And that's what matters, right? So like for me personally, it's not as fucked up as The Black Coat's Daughter or as clever as The Black Coat's Daughter.
just
but-
hear your
yeah.
words. It's like
I
you're
know.
craving fucked up.
Yeah.
You're craving this unsettling.
Yeah.
So
It is
perhaps,
still
perhaps-
unsettling.
Perhaps
It's an unsettling movie.
Perhaps you've got a bigger appetite.
Yeah.
But what we like here is to have other customers come and return stuff.
Yeah.
And so I know a good friend of ours, Monet, came to the Bioscope on Saturday to watch it, and I see him walking towards the video store right now, and I think he might be returning Longlegs. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hi guys, it's Monet here, and I'm returning Longlegs. We watched it on Saturday night at the Bioscope, and unfortunately, I thought that the movie was just okay. I really tried to stay out of the hype cycle going into the film and kind of keep my expectations low, but unfortunately, it still kind of disappointed me. I thought that the build-up and the atmosphere of the film was great. It was channeling something very similar to Seven initially. But then in the third act, the film kind of deviates and ends up in a place that I don't feel made a lot of sense given the pieces that they were building up and given the kind of direction that the film was moving in. I did think that the film had some creepy moments in it. And I thought that the acting overall was great from everybody involved, especially it's always a treat seeing old Nicolas Cage doing his thing in a weird role. He was channeling some weird rock star vibe there. So there was a lot of really good elements to the film, but unfortunately I don't think it came together in the way that I was hoping. Maybe on a rewatch it will be a little bit better. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Longlegs. Thanks.
Thank you, Monet.
Yeah, I agree with him. 100%. No, like he said, I mean, he mentioned that he thinks it might appreciate on value for a rewatch for him.
Yeah.
I agree.
Osgood Perkins seems to be that guy.
That's the thing though, right? Like I said, those other films I mentioned, I appreciated them. I liked them the first time, loved them the second time. You know what I mean?
So maybe he's just that kind of filmmaker that needs more time. Let's get on to other twists. Hey, what a segue. Let's talk about Twisters, which we watched in IMAX in all its sound and visual glory.
Yeah.
This is effectively a reboot of the 90s Tornado movie. It's got nothing to do with Helen Hunt and
I was
all
expecting
of them.
it to show up.
It would have been nice if they'd set in the same universe. They could have. But it's effectively a relook. And it's all about tornadoes. And it is about a young woman who is a climatologist, studier person who seems to have a natural knack and love for tornadoes. The movie starts with a rather tragic incident with her friends while studying tornadoes as students, but now cut to her years later where she gets brought in to help with the project and meets a dreamy guy.
Oh, Glenn Powell
In all his dreaminess. It's a great film in that sense.
It's a fun popcorn movie.
It's a great popcorn movie, and I think something to perhaps kick off the discussion is something Cole whispered to me in my ear during the movie, which I appreciated, which was, it feels like we're watching a movie from the 90s.
It does, 100%.
And I really love that. It's made by Steven Spielberg's company.
Yeah.
these are the people behind
Amblin. Yeah.
Jurassic Park
Yeah.
and all those movies from the 90s.
$200 million budget.
Wild. And I want to get into that because it didn't feel CGI-y, but obviously it had loads of it because there was all this destruction.
What, you're telling me those aren't real tornadoes? If it was Christopher Nolan, he'd be like, no, we're getting in that tornado,
Well,
man.
the crew just like sitting around for months waiting for a tornado to happen.
They'll figure out a way to make it.
Yeah, they made
Yeah.
this. It took them 20 years to make it.
She made a little one on a like scale model thing. So
Yeah,
they can
Yeah.
make
you
a big
know,
one.
they got the
Um,
science. Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite simple in that regard. But yeah, it was fun.
I really loved the whole YouTube video aspect of Glenn Powell's character.
Oh yeah, I dig
So
that
he
as
was
well.
okay. So Glenn Powell's character comes onto the scene initially as this very brash, arrogant bad guy. You sort of see him as the negative and antagonist of the film. He runs a YouTube channel, and they sort of are doing everything seemingly bad about that culture of tornado chasing.
Yeah, there's a lot of yee-hoo, wee-hoo.
It is a painfully American in that regard. Where they're shooting fireworks into the tornado.
They might as well have been shooting guns in the air the whole time.
where our character, who is the woman who is in the Where the Crawdads Sing film.
Yes,
thought I
Daisy Edgar Jones. She was in Normal People. She's
I
great in
recognized
Normal
her and I was like, where do I know this woman from? Our main character.
Mm.
And I realized that she was the lead in Where the Crawdads Sing, which is a completely different movie.
People. Yeah.
in many ways, and she's got dark hair in that movie, so that's why you can't recognize her.
Yeah.
But she thinks she's doing good and research and helping, and he's a menace. And then what is quite smart, and I don't want to give too much away, but there's a nice little twist, so to speak. Oh Jesus! In our characters,
They were dead the whole time.
and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. What do you think, Gad?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be stupid going into it. I had very low expectations, but it was fun. I definitely enjoyed myself. The music was very loud and unsubtle.
Well-
Where were you seated?
He was a little bit behind us.
Oh, did Colden drag you to the front?
Oh,
I can't do too.
yeah, same, dude. Flip. He did
At the
that to
time,
us
I was right in
Furiosa.
the front, and it was.
He did that to us in Furiosa, and we were like, "Fuck."
I did call position again
Okay.
for Twisters, and what we're talking
I
about
was
is
2 rows in front of you.
Oh yes,
I was just
I
in
saw
there
you.
with all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
leg space.
Yeah.
what we're talking about is where the optimal place to sit is in the IMAX theater, and Cole has insisted that we're in the first block, which is right in the front, not the very, very front.
I get why.
This is
though,
one or
yeah.
two rows from the back of the first block.
Yeah.
And I did it again, and I kind of regretted it this time. I was like, actually,
think
because
Perrin's got the right idea.
Yeah.
you two sat further back, and I was like,
Yeah.
next time I'm going to insist we sit further back.
Where you
Because-
were sitting is the closest I'd sit. That's
So
yeah.
it's like lots of leg room, but the point is, as soon as you go behind, it starts leveling up.
Yeah.
So the problem is, if the people that are in front, that's like a meter ahead, you see their heads.
yeah, totally.
So it just
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
race. So there's just a little disadvantage. I think 1 or 2 back from that middle
Yeah.
section front is.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's your row that you were sitting is the one I would force myself into. But generally at IMAX is row G and H is like perfect,
All right.
dead center.
Middle of the middle.
Cole's logic, I definitely see where he's coming from. He's like, where I sit, he's like, oh, but that's like when you sit at home in front of your TV. Like, it's the same
Too
kind
far
of
away,
screen.
like the screen is too far
Yeah,
away.
he's like, it's like you might as well watch it at home, right? So he wants to feel like he's at an IMAX theater.
where pretty much in every direction you look, you see a screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
No, I get it.
Insane person.
I have
looking
enjoyed.
up is
Yeah.
the problem.
I have enjoyed all those things, but
Yeah.
okay, I get it. Another thing to talk about quick is Quiet Place Day One,
Okay.
which
Yeah,
I watched at the distributors.
I know you're not
um,
a huge fan.
Well, I never watched the other ones, to be honest.
Really?
No.
Oh, come on.
No. So have you seen Day One?
I loved all of them.
I
So
loved
like
the first one was
the
great.
first one was great. I preferred the second one.
Really?
Yeah. So second one, I was like, oh, it's not as good as the first one. Watched it again, loved it more.
Huh.
But first one was great. But what I loved about, have you seen the new one?
I haven't seen the new one.
So what I liked about the new one is it genuinely felt like A Quiet Place. The other films, it didn't feel like they were trying too hard to be quiet. Like the element was there, they had the sign. So are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I know the idea. So
Yeah.
the first one we ever got was A Quiet Place,
Yeah.
where our world had been established,
Yeah.
right? That there were these
invaders from outer space.
invaders from outer
Yeah.
space that prey on you based on sound.
Yeah.
And so everyone has to keep quiet.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, the first one, they had clever little things where, you know, like,
But did it start with it all being established?
No. So that's one thing I like about the Quiet Place. Even in this new one, is one of your things is that you wanted answers, like
A little bit.
like a little bit of context, right, on
Yeah.
where these things came from. Personally, I don't think we need answers. I think
Okay.
the mystery of them just being there is like more compelling. Like, I don't particularly care about that because the characters are more interesting. You know what I mean?
So the one thing I want to say about Quiet Place Day One is that they worked very hard at giving as much story, context, and humanity to our main characters.
Yeah.
So this movie starts as a small little personal like cancer film.
Well, I mean,
It starts as a personal drama.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like fucking aliens just burst
Yeah.
in from the sky and then start fucking eating people.
So-
So
Yeah.
you do care and love your character. You do get a sense of her. This is played by Lupita Nyong'o.
yeah.
And then the Oki from Stranger Things shows up.
They're actually dating, which is interesting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So there is this beautiful human story, but then
Yeah.
you're like, fucking these aliens come out of nowhere all the
Yeah.
time. And like it kind of, in a way, kind of ruins this beautiful
So,
story.
that's the
So
interesting.
I don't give a shit about it.
Okay, I get you.
It left me quite cold. It's a little bit like, and sorry to go back to Twisters.
Yeah.
There were too many fucking tornadoes in Twisters. Like, do we get that many fucking tornadoes?
No, but that's
Do
all,
they-
the Twisters is stupid. It's
They-
dumb
and they-
fun. You
and
know?
they justify.
Twisters,
Yeah.
Russell.
I know,
God.
but literally, but maybe I'm wrong because once I remember in a movie seeing this kind of lightning sky
yeah.
and going like, that's bullshit. I've never seen that much lightning.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
We're in Joburg and we get a lot of lightning, you know?
And then I once
Yeah.
looked in the sky and was
We
like,
get a
oh
shit
my
ton of
God,
lightning,
look at
dude.
that. It's like
Yeah.
crack, crack,
Yeah.
crack, 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 crack. And I was like, oh my God, this fucking does happen.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm wrong, but in my head, I was like, how many fucking tornadoes do we actually get in Tornado Alley?
Look, I think they kind of cut out the parts in between where the tornadoes weren't
Yeah,
there.
sure.
But I
They
think
would make a shit movie with them just sitting around waiting.
But during tornado season, I think there are like 5 or 6 within like a couple
Yeah,
of
it's called
weeks.
Tornado Alley for a reason. Like, it's
But I mean,
nuts.
They keep on building there.
Yeah. There was a great
Hold on.
there was a great comedian that was like, you know, you keep hearing people complain like, we got hit by a tornado.
Yeah.
And he's like, just move. It's
Exactly.
It's called Tornado Alley. Like, it's in the name.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not even that hard. Your house is on wheels.
Yeah, no, for sure. But you know what's interesting? Like those two films, it's interesting because like with Quiet Place, you're like, you know, it's this intimate cancer story, right? And the director who did that, he did a movie called Pig with Nicolas Cage.
Still need to watch that.
Amazing
Heard that's
film.
amazing.
And that was packaged as a vengeance film because Nicolas Cage plays a truffle hunter, like a truffle
The
hunter
mushrooms,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, and his pig gets stolen.
Yeah.
And he goes looking for these guys. So it's packaged as a vengeance thriller,
Yeah.
but the film is an intimate drama about grief and like loneliness, and it's
Yeah.
just gorgeous. He should have gotten an Oscar nomination for that. And then you also Twisters, opposite ends of the spectrum, where I was talking to you before. I'm like, I cannot believe Lee Isaac Chung, the guy who did Minari, did Twisters. And he
Yeah.
makes these intimate family dramas. These
But I
intimate,
think that's a
know?
classic Hollywood trope where
It's wild.
you get this sort of celebrated indie favorite,
Yeah.
and then Hollywood goes like, "Hey, man, you want to look at this chick?
I mean, look what
Look
Chloe
how-
Zhao did.
look how
with
big this
Eternals.
chick
Yeah,
is.
Eternals. What it's exactly.
Yeah, and she hasn't really bounced back from that. Which
It is
sucks.
hard, and it can suck these filmmakers up. I know
Yeah.
that Michelle Gondry got given way too much with Green Hornet,
Yeah,
and it
oh,
kind
geez,
of
so disappointing.
I was personally able to kind of witness his
Downfall.
downfall,
Yeah.
his mental break, because we were meant to have him come out for our exhibition.
Yes, I
We got
remember.
his permission
Yeah.
and license to do his home movie factory in
Yeah.
2012, and I got sent his passport. We bought his first class ticket. He was going to
Amazing.
come, and 2 weeks out, his assistant was like, he's basically lost his mind.
Shame, man.
And I'm quitting because he's getting violent.
Yeah, we haven't seen him.
And it was because
since,
here was this beautiful indie punk rock kind of mind that just got given way too much. It wasn't actually Green Hornet that did it. There was this bigger French production, which was an adaptation of a very famous book that was going to have the most famous. It was going to have the woman from Amélie in it, Audrey Tautou. This other famous French guy, and there was just too much writing on it. And I think he just
lost his mind.
He just lost his mind
under pressure. Jeez,
it's interesting that sometimes these people can grow into it, like Greta Gerwig. Imagine fucking out on Barbie, but she didn't. She owned it. It just shows you even more what an accomplishment Barbie was.
Do you know what's I'm happy to see now is there's the toxic director thing is starting to. I mean, it's still around, but like it's starting to go away. It's starting to go away now. You look
what do you mean?
So like, I mean, like it sucks. But like Kubrick, for example, right? You see how he treated Shelley Duvall on The Shining. You know, that's like toxic work behavior, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he's trying to get the best performance, it's still not a good excuse, you know what I mean? But like you look at like someone like Greta Gerwig, where you always hear about what a collaborative, exciting, fun experience it is working with her. And even though she's probably stressing out, she goes to work making sure that everyone has fun and like enjoys the process.
You got it. Yeah, it's
and that feels like with Michel Gondry, it just sounds like he started to hate the process. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of directors where they openly admit they hate being on set, but they love being in post production. You know what I mean?
It's like you should be an editor, man.
Yeah, so like it's interesting to see like what has Michel Gondry done since? He's he
did that show with Jim Carrey.
Yes, yeah.
Is it called Knowing?
No,
yeah, it sort of came in
happy. Yeah, it was something. Yeah,
one
something
word.
ing.
Yeah,
something ing.
But yeah, let's move on.
Cool.
So, little fact about X-Men, well, Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So when
that's coming soon. It's coming at the end of
July 26th.
So it's like 2 weeks.
And the Bioscope is going to take it in week 2.
Oh, cool.
So in the second week, so that's the first weekend of August.
Yeah.
The Bioscope's going to do it.
Sick.
It's going to be fun. And I'm going to tell you some of my plans.
Cool.
But yeah, give us the facts.
So Bryan Singer handled the first X-Men movie.
Yeah.
And on set, they were banned from reading comics, which I find
ridiculous.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So at the time, Kevin Feige wasn't an official producer. He'd kind of just been brought on and he was an associate producer. And apparently he was the one who kind of got Hugh Jackman to get the role because someone else was cast and he got into an accident and then Hugh Jackman ended up doing it. The two of them would go spend time in Kevin Feige's office reading X-Men comics, like illegally, like off the cuff.
That's so cool.
So this new Wolverine that's coming is not the same Wolverine as what was in those movies. He's wearing like the original yellow.
Yeah, the iconic yellow, yeah.
And it's like
so
that's cool.
When they made the original X-Men's, the Bryan Singer, big budget X-Men, which was really our first.
Talk about a problematic filmmaker.
But sure, but those were our first superhero movies.
Yeah.
That was like the prologue. What comes first? Prologue.
Prequel?
Epilogue? Prologue.
Prologue. Oh, I think it is prologue.
Prologue is first. That was our intro, our appetizer, let's talk in food analogies, to what then became the big era of superhero films.
I think it was just before Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi.
It was around the same time. So interestingly and this just shows you the era, right? Is that they were making these huge budget, big, bold movies, but not honoring source material.
Yeah.
And now we are painstakingly in the complete other way of doing things, which is like, if it is an Asian story, it has to be an Asian director.
Yeah.
If it is a woman story,
which is good,
it has to be a woman director.
Yeah, it's good.
There's like, we're in the era of representation now. We're in the era of the importance of that. I've mentioned this before. 10 years ago, I was in film school, and that was always the debate. Why is Taye Diggs coming and playing an African character? Why is the white guy telling the black guy story? We were all criticizing that till eventually it's now sort of it has to be the way.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing because these products are authentic and they are true and it resonates and Black Panther does fucking well.
Yeah.
You know?
Because
Like,
people feel seen, which is
yeah,
important.
and
you know?
it's done in a way that's even subtle sometimes.
But that's why, like 2 weeks ago, we talked about that film I saw, The TV Glow, that queer horror film.
Yeah.
And it's made by a trans filmmaker, and because the film is a trans allegory, people felt seen. So that's why they're resonating with it.
Yeah.
And despite you not liking the movie or liking Jane Schoenbrun's films, you have to admit that they're making vitally important films because people feel seen. You know what I mean?
No, and Inside Out 2 had to be made by a woman because
what a great film.
although they haven't gendered the problems too much, they've kept it as open for
universal, 100%.
and universal. Like, it's still a young girl.
Yeah.
And it had to be told by a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
So interesting. What else is there to talk about? Should we get on to TV shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm finally watching Fallout. I'm a bit late to the party.
Oh, cool.
We got halfway through the first episode, fell asleep, and we never went back. But I was enjoying it.
So that's what happened. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was getting tired, so I turned it off.
Yeah.
But I finished episode 2 yesterday.
Did you ever play the games?
My brother loved the game. So, yeah, he said the show's cool.
And so Fallout is on Amazon
Prime.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you liking it, Gaz?
Yeah, it's great. It's just like
Very
I
cool.
love the idea of post-apocalyptic worlds, like Mad Max theoretically.
That shit I love that shit. Yeah, same.
And it's kind of like the opposite of where Blast from the Past would have gone.
Oh,
Because they like went underground thinking that all this was going to happen, and they got up, everything was fine.
yeah.
But this is like they're just living this totally like blocked off world, and they come out and everything is insane, and they're like,
Yeah.
you should go back into the vaults.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, okay, so Fallout is all about future apocalyptic people coming out of.
well, the Cold War
Fallout
did actually
Yeah, the
happen.
Cold War happened and the nukes actually landed. Yeah, and the world's
Okay.
been destroyed, and these
Okay.
people have been living in a vault for like hundreds of years, right?
And each
Something like
each
that, yeah.
version of the game is a different vault. Now
Yeah,
coming
it's
out,
like,
eh?
so there's like one is in Vegas, and I don't know where the third. So there's like 5 games, I
Okay.
think.
So there's a lot of meat on the bone for the TV show.
Yeah, and I mean,
and it could almost be an anthology, right? So season 1 could be
100%.
this vault,
yeah,
people coming out, and then they could make season 2 somewhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So the main idea of the first season is that someone's broken into this vault where we introduced and kidnaps this girl's father. So she has to go out into the world to try find her father. And
it's Kyle MacLachlan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sick. I love Kyle.
This is making me think of Love and Monsters,
I loved Love and
which
Monsters.
is one
Such
of
a great
the
fun.
most underrated
South African
gems.
director.
I know.
Yeah. Great
South
film.
African filmmaker made
Yeah.
it. But it's one of the most underrated
Jonathan
gems on
Nolan.
Netflix.
Eh?
Jonathan Nolan.
No. Love and Monsters.
He was the guy behind Five Fingers for Marseille.
Yeah, he directed that, and I think it's on Netflix.
Because
It
Fallout
was on-
is directed by Christopher Nolan's brother.
yeah, Jonathan Nolan.
Yeah,
the
I'm
first
talking
episodes.
about Love and Monsters. So.
Yeah.
Love and Monsters is a great, fun,
Yeah,
awesome
great
movie.
I think I've seen it.
I think you'll dig it. It's like a cool, fun monster movie. It's like really fun. Yeah,
It is the funnest watch.
it's like a fun adventure movie.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
It's just so well made.
yeah.
Can we talk about America's Sweethearts?
Yes, we can.
This is the Netflix docuseries
Yeah,
about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
yeah,
And it could very easily be a dumb, vacuous, kind of silly show about chickies being cheerleaders.
yeah.
But it's about something more. And I think the substance of it gives it more reason to watch. At the end of the day, it does play out very light. It is about this one season of women auditioning to become Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. But why it's important is you come to realize that they are the most famous cheerleaders, right? You don't know of any other cheerleaders,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I barely know them.
Exactly, but it's a thing. It's a knowledgeable. The world kind of knows about them. This is America's sport, American football. It very much embodies America. You've got a very famous team, the Dallas Cowboys, very interestingly named as Cowboys.
Yeah.
And now you've got this famous tradition of these cheerleaders doing like a very famous dance to a very famous song. There's tradition. It's all about tradition. These women embody the beauty of America, the perfection of America. And so a lot rides on the shoulders of these like young, kind of silly, but very talented athlete women to embody this huge expectation. And that's what makes the show kind of interesting.
What year is it set in?
No, in the last year of the audition. So it was the woman that became
Is it reality TV?
Yeah, it's a docuseries.
Okay,
so
okay.
it follows them. They put their body through like an incredible amount to do.
Cheerleading's hard, dude.
It's not. It's a gymnast kind of job. But I just found that interesting that you've got the idea of what America finds beautiful is an interesting question. How many of them are white? How many of them are black? How many are Hispanic? How are they represented? What do they have to live up to? What do they have to do? It's interesting. And there's one girl who's like the sweetest like Southern girl who like
the Southern Belle.
Yeah, and she just loves Jesus. And this whole thing about like it's so interesting how they've made these choices to represent her because and they know what they're doing because the filmmakers and editors are smart people.
Yeah.
And she says something like, and she comes from pageants. And she so she can, do certain gymnastics and dancing. And there's this great moment where she's like, I just want to use, what God gave me and I want to share that with the world. And then it cuts to her like shaking her ass. Like, because, they dance quite seductively.
Yeah.
They do gymnasts, but at the end of the day, they also are representing sexuality and,
100%,
and their bodies.
desire,
and they are wearing these like skimpy little fucking
bikinis,
outfits. And it's just so well cut where she's like, I want to use what God gave me to share joy in the world. And it just cuts to her like
I just
shaking
know
her
the
ass.
editor was like, I know, like as soon as she said that, he's like, okay, we're looking for this footage. There it is.
There
done.
it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, and she's got this like one boyfriend who is this like very looking dude.
Of course,
And
yeah.
it's her first boyfriend and they're going
High school sweethearts, yeah.
and they're going to get married. And it's just like, you just look at this dude and you're like, bro, you are punching so far above it's like you have got no idea like what you're sitting with.
Yeah.
But it's funny.
That sounds fun, man.
It was an easy watch. It was fun.
I love it. I love a good easy watch, something I can eat and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other one that's good, which we started this weekend, is called Sprint. Which
that
is,
looks cool.
as I said earlier, this is the Netflix docuseries about a particular sport to give you context, to give you characters, because real world beautiful television is playing out in real time.
Yeah.
And if you have a really good show like Drive to Survive, it can bolster the economy of these sports.
Yeah.
The whole of F1 has changed
Because
and
of that show,
developed.
it's crazy.
New races have been added in America because America has
massive.
taken an interest in F1 because of Drive to Survive.
Yeah, because they're not driving in a circle.
Yeah.
NASCAR,
No,
you're just
but-
turning left for.
out of all the sports, it makes sense that this one came first. It makes sense that this one did well because there are only so many seats in Formula One.
Yeah.
NFL is fucking massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
So
College football in particular.
The quarterback docuseries just focused on 3 quarterbacks, which was an interesting one. Now they've made receiver, which is they're now trying to get to the other aspects of the game.
Have you seen Last Chance U?
No.
That's phenomenal.
What sport is that?
It's football.
Okay.
It's one of the best college football clubs in America, and it follows how these kids balance school with actually playing football.
Yeah, well, these Dallas Cowboy
Incredible.
cheerleaders hardly get paid.
Yeah.
Because it's 1 year of their life.
Yeah.
It's a great sort of tradition and notoriety and all of that. But they have to have other jobs. So these women are like teachers and salespeople and studying, and it's very interesting.
No, you must check out Last Chance U because it's not
Where
the
is
big. It's Netflix. It's not the big colleges, the main colleges. It's one of the the lower divisions.
Okay.
And a lot of these kids are from like, it's like a small town. They're from like downtrodden areas or whatever.
Yeah.
And they go there to hopefully get noticed by bigger colleges. So they go there. But then a lot of the times, like each season, it's like an anthology. So each season is a new class of kids.
Okay.
And there's like one particular lady who helps the kids, who is just one of the best TV characters, like not characters, TV personalities ever, because she's just a literal angel, and everyone loves her, and she's amazing.
It's amazing
such a great
how
show.
some people are just made for those shows. So like in
Yeah.
Drive to Survive, there's certain characters that just people love.
The House
Gunther.
Gunther, I love him.
From
yeah.
Haas, yeah.
Yeah, Haas, yeah.
But yeah, Sprint is cool, and I think Sprint is worth watching right now on Netflix because ahead of the Olympics,
Yeah, for sure.
it's going to be very cool to have characters.
Yeah.
So that when the Olympics happens, which is later this year,
Yeah.
it's soon.
No, it's like end of this month.
It's the end of this
Yeah.
month. You're going to
Summer
recognize,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Summer Olympics in Paris.
Yeah.
You're going to know certain characters and you're going to feel them and understand them better. You're going to give a shit. They're not just going to be a person you know nothing about.
Yeah.
And so, Sprint is about the sprinters.
Yeah.
So Sha'Carri Richardson, Noah
Oh,
Lyles. I now know these people's names after this weekend.
That's important though, hey? Like, because it, like you said, it bolsters the economy of those sports.
but it gives
you know?
humanity, and it has people give a shit. It's
Exactly,
interesting.
yeah. Yeah.
So lovely, guys.
I'm flying to Paris on the way to Germany
Yeah,
Oh,
Gaddy,
cool.
you're gonna.
When are you
do your
going?
thing.
next Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah.
For how long?
We got 6 shows over 2 weekends.
Oh, sick.
Gaddy's
then-
going to play a tour. This is with Adventure Man.
Adventure.
Oh,
Man,
that's
my solo
cool.
project. Yeah.
That's rad.
So I'm going
Congrats,
with my
man.
buddy Richard,
Cool, man.
and we all in Berlin, and then I'm going to Amsterdam to visit my brother.
Fucking cool, man.
So I was in Amsterdam last week.
I want to visit this museum that
So-
you went to.
Yeah, so I want to just quickly mention that Amsterdam has got the most amazing spaces for cinema.
Yeah.
The
for
biggest
sure.
being this beautiful architectural marvel on the water front, the main canal right by Central Station, the Eye Museum.
I've heard about
the
it.
Eye
Yeah.
Film Museum, which is obviously at its core cinemas. So
Yeah.
there's 3 cinemas, which I wish I had the time while traveling to go and watch movies. They were screening Kinds of Kindness. I wish
Oh, man.
I wish I could do it. If I was on my own,
So
it would be a bit
jealous.
more possible.
Yeah.
Do they screen that with Dutch subtitles?
I'm not sure. I was curious to
A friend of
actually
mine
ask.
lives there, so she's been living there for a while. And she is Afrikaans, but like it took her a while to get used to like
The
Dutch.
Yeah.
And she said like often like at least in the early days when she would see like a French film with Dutch subtitles, she would like struggle to understand, and now she's eventually gotten the hang of it. But like, yeah, she's. I think
Okay,
you get.
so maybe
I
it was be English with Dutch
Yeah,
subtitles.
I think that's the case.
I think these cinema spaces would be purists,
Yeah, for sure.
and they would screen it in the original language.
yeah,
The French
100%.
dubbed the movies.
The Germans as well. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But got a chance to see it. The gift shop was a dream. Just because for me, like,
Yeah.
I have my own cinema gift shop here at the
Yeah.
Bioscope, and so I took great notes on what books they had and what books even exist. You know,
Yeah.
we don't always get the options to have these books
Yeah,
on
for
sale
sure.
and magazines and posters and ideas, and so I loved it. And it was also great popping in to other cinemas.
Yeah.
There was
see
one
what
called
they're
the,
doing.
the Eight
yeah.
Cake. Eight
The
Cake.
eight cake. Yeah.
A
That's cool.
lot of them were student run, which
Oh,
is
that's
very
cool.
cool. But there were many. There were a handful of Bioscope style cinemas, which
Yeah.
was lovely. And I took great joy in walking in and saying, I own a
Yeah.
cinema in Joburg, and we spoke about it. And how many screens do you have? And it was very cool. I love sort of seeing a city through its
That's
cinemas.
cool, man. I'm
I
glad
did
you
it
got
in
to
New
nerd
York.
out. Yeah.
I did a month in New York once as a personal trip.
Okay, cool.
After or during early days.
Yeah.
And basically every day I went to a different cinema site. It just shows you how many exist
Yeah.
in other parts of the world.
It's wild.
Where
Yeah.
what I often have to do here on a Saturday when showing people the Bioscope and being a bit of a tour guide is I've got to explain to them that places like this exist.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can realize a lot of South Africans don't even have room in their brain for a cinema or a
Yeah.
space like this, where anyone who's lucky enough to travel to some of these bigger cities, you see them all the time.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
But yeah, lekker guys. Nice to catch up.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
to catch up, man.
Nice to have a good chat. We had a nice little healthy long chat here.
I'll see you guys when I'm back.
Yeah, good luck with the tour, Gary.
Yeah,
I'll
good luck,
bring you
man.
some bratwurst back.
Some bratwurst. Or a
Get-
stroopy.
Yeah, or leave the hosens. What's the little
That's
leather
German,
shorts?
yeah.
Some schnitzels.
Yeah. Don't bring chicken schnitzel home. That's going to be too much. But yeah, there's not going to be a guest episode this week.
Okay.
Because I was away. That's why we took the break. We are going to record some lovely episodes this week with guests.
Oh, cool.
But I'm not sure which one we're going to do.
Oh, I
or
get
when.
you,
So I'd
yeah.
rather just know what's banked, know which one is the best one to do. So we won't do a guest episode this Thursday. And I also want to build a culture of like, there might not always be a guest episode.
Yeah.
Because these are tricky to sometimes coordinate and do. And I want to always have it be the best people and the best chats.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's do a quality over quantity.
yeah.
So this week it's just this chat, but from next week there should be some good guests,
Nice.
which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
All right, home base is thevideostore.co.za. We do have links to some previous episodes there, as well as all our social media. Chime in with your own. Did you guys hear?
Yeah.
I think that's a nice
Man,
one to do.
I wanted to do the serial killer movies that you may have missed. Shit. I
Okay.
missed out on that. Sorry, man.
There is still space. Let's fucking do it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so what we also hope to do is whenever Perrin is around, are we going to try build some lists? So maybe let's do a quick introduce it.
Literally, so my whole vibe is I love lists. So like I want to introduce lists into people's like if they like one movie or they feel like it's missing something, these are movies.
Desert Island top 5.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, so let's hear it. What is your list today?
So for Longlegs, right? If you love the whole serial killer vibe stuff, but also you feel like there was missing something.
Okay.
These are 5 movies you may have missed that could tickle your fancy, right?
Or you should rewatch.
Or should rewatch. So we mentioned Silence of the Lambs, Zodiac 7, right? So those are
the obvious
no-brainers.
ones, yeah.
So Cure is about it's a Japanese horror thriller film by a director he's got the same name as Akira Kurosawa, but it's not the same Kurosawa. And what it's about is an investigator starts finding people who show up dead with like an X scratched into their necks.
Okay.
But the murderer, he's always near the scene, but he can never remember what happened. So that's the whole premise. And it just happens, it goes from scene to scene where these people just show up dead and we don't know what's happening, right?
Okay.
Amazing. Cure 1997, one of the best films of the 90s. Fucking phenomenal.
Okay, next one.
Peeping Tom by Michael Powell.
It's like a
It's an
60s
old movie.
Yeah.
I remember watching that at film school.
So that was like that effectively like ended Michael Powell's career, because if you know Michael Powell, is Powell and Pressburger. They did The Red Shoes, Tales of a Hoffman, Life and Times of Criminal Blimp, all these great like colorful films, right?
Okay.
And then he goes and makes this fucked up killer movie where it's about a serial killer who films the woman that he's killing in their dying moments.
Yes.
And like he makes these like documentaries of these films, and
yeah.
really, really messed up film that like when it came out, Michael Powell was absolutely butchered for it because they were like, it's too messed up. It just, people weren't ready for it. I think it came out just before Psycho or a year after Psycho.
Okay.
Anyways.
And these movies are going to be obscure and quite hard to find.
Yeah, so
maybe like Mubi or some
Mubi,
places.
Cure I think is on Mubi. If you got the Criterion channel, a lot of these are on there.
Okay, cool.
And
Number
then M is a German
Fritz
movie.
Lang.
Fritz Lang,
Just
incredible film.
Just the letter M.
Just the letter M, 1931, silent film. It's about the criminal underworld start hunting a child killer, basically.
Oh, deep
Can you
dive.
play Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon? Does it sync up?
Yeah, totally, with Wizard of Oz. And then, so that's number 3.
Number 4?
Number 4, House that Jack Built,
Oh my God,
Lars
that
von
movie
Trier.
is amazing.
It's fucked up.
Oh my God.
With Joaquin Phoenix.
No, it's with Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
Um,
It is.
it's proper
that
fucked
got
up.
under my skin.
So yeah, he's a serial killer, and the whole premise is that death has come to visit him, and like he's going over like specific kills that he made over his lifetime.
Like, you know, he isn't doing it, but you still believe, no, he's not capable of
Yeah,
this.
it's like it's proper messed up because there's like he kills children, he kills like
Jesus.
It's really messed up, but great film. If you love Lars von Trier and you want something fucked up, that's the one to watch.
Lars von Trier is a very famous Danish filmmaker.
Yeah, and then I'll give you 2 for the price of 1. Memories of Murder.
Okay, I was about to say that had to be on the list.
Bong Joon-ho, probably my favorite Bong Joon-ho film. So he did Parasite, obviously, and it's basically the Korean Zodiac.
Yes,
And it's based on a true story where these 2 detectives, mismatched detectives. One's a little irresponsible, like small town detective, and then there's a city detective who's like more into the science of solving mysteries and stuff. And they are hunting down a rapist murderer that's plaguing the area.
Myself and Cole did Memories of Murder and
So
Zodiac.
incredible film, fucking hell.
We did it as that and Zodiac as a double bill in COVID.
So good. So that, and interestingly enough, recently, I think 5 years ago, they found the murderer. They finally found the murderer.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
In Japan,
No, in Korea.
I mean in Korea.
And he was in jail already, and he admitted to it. Like wild. And then the last one,
Because we never found Zodiac. Hey.
No, we never found Zodiac. They have theories of who did it. There's documentaries that tell you who did it, and they reveal, oh no, we actually don't know who did it.
God.
And then the last one, Man Bites Dog, Belgian
love that movie so
docu,
much.
like a mockumentary, really fucked up as well, like a comedy, black comedy.
That was a film school film that was like, oh yeah, this was the first like fucked up movie.
Yeah, it's proper fucked up.
Is it that scene when he walks in and see the lady had like heart medication?
Yeah.
Gives her a fright.
Yeah. Like, so like that's one movie where it's like so funny at the beginning, and then it like, there's a point where it just becomes completely depraved, where like he starts involving the film crew in his murders and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a very experimental, very unique film when it came out. It's black and white.
Yeah, black and white. The whole premise is that it's a film school team are making a documentary about a serial killer, and this guy kills indiscriminately as well. He kills like postmen, kills children, kills whoever, you know.
But it was a really landmark
messed up.
film because it came up in our film school. So Man Bites Dog.
Yeah, Man Bites
But
Dog.
you should only have top 5, man.
I'm sorry, man. I
What are
had
you
to
gonna
throw that
do?
in because I was Memories of Murder, and
One of
that. I
them's
was like,
got to go.
fuck,
One
yeah.
of them's got to go. Which one's going to go?
Memories of Murder.
All right. So you're going to put Man Bites Dog ahead of it.
No, Memories
Memories of Murder is going to make it.
only purely because I love.
Bonus edition is Man Bites Dog.
Only because I loved Memories of Murder so much, and it's my favorite Bong Joon-ho. So yeah,
Good. All right.
and that's my list.
That's your list. That's a great list. No, whenever you're on, I want to get a list from Perrin. It's
Okay,
the P-Dog list.
All right,
Okay, magic. Thank you for putting that together. I appreciate you.
thanks, folks.
And I also appreciate you listening thus far. And thank you for your time while you were browsing our video store, listening to us talk shit. And just know that you can chime in. So we've got instructions on how you can give a return, like the one you heard from Mornay earlier, as well as our Hey Did You Guys See? We would love to hear you guys chime in, especially on a place like Instagram or on the Facebook group. Hey Did You Guys See with something.
Yeah.
A trailer or news or something we should talk about. Magic.
Cool.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time.
Nice.
Come on, Gaddy.
Yeah.
There we go.
Onward to the week.
That's the spirit.
Thanks, chums.